Welcome to March in New York City. It's 58 degrees Fahrenheit, clear sunny skies. And the question is, has spring arrived in New York? Well, this always tends to happen in New York City during the late winter season. There's those tiny little bursts of very warm, sunny days, and you think finally spring has arrived. But spoiler alert, no. Don't be fooled by a day like today. But nonetheless, today's so gorgeous. Let's walk around New York City. We're starting at 42nd Street in Hell's Kitchen, 9th Avenue, and we're going to walk downtown, see how New York City looks like on the first day of March, on the beautiful spring-like day. Welcome everyone, nice to see you here. Welcome M4, Daz, Sally, RJ, Mater. Welcome everyone. Welcome Christine. Christos says, it's March. It is March indeed, Christos. I'm drinking a Freddo espresso. I got it from a Greek cafe called Grind. Grind I've covered many times. I've been to Grind many times in my videos in this area. But today we're walking downtown. So let's see what life is about. I'm going to enjoy the beauties of New York on a day where everyone goes out. Ethan says, what happened to your connection? Not entirely sure. Maybe it's because we're in a busy area filled with a lot of subways and traffic and such.
Unaffiliated.
Adam says, good morning from Ireland. Ooh, Ireland. Oh, how I miss Ireland and its food. I really loved Ireland, and it was some of the best food I've ever had. Seriously, I'm not joking. Ireland has a bad reputation for food, but I loved it. Wendy, good to see you. Remco says, the weather looks better. It does. Than there in the Netherlands. Ooh, how is it in the Netherlands? I heard the Netherlands gets very rainy during the late winter season. Mater says, beware the Ides of March. Indeed. The Ides of March, I think, is the 14th.
Wow.
March. Alan says, Ireland loves you. Oh, Alan, so glad to hear that. Solar Plexus, nice to see you here. Here we are passing by one of the most beautiful locations in all of New York City. This station continues to astonish all tourists that come here from far afield to places, from places like Ohio or Ireland or New Jersey. They come here in awe to the beauty of Port Authority. So I'm being sarcastic. Unfortunately, Port Authority is not that good looking. We're gonna just peek in. This is the bus terminal, which is slated to be heavily remodeled, if not destroyed and rebuilt. I'm not sure which of the two have they moved forward with, but it will be changing at some point. Probably by 2052. Murphy from Northern Ireland. We do love you. Hey, I'm so glad so many of the Irish viewers loved the videos I did there. I'm still so honored, and they still continue to be watched. Of all my travels, Ireland still continues to be the #1 place that people keep re-watching my videos, aside from New York. Oh, wow. So this is Port Authority. And Susie asks, why did you decide to go live? Susie, because I deeply care for my audience, and I know you guys really want a live video. I can hear it in the distance. You know how like Superman has super hearing, and in the distance he hears the people who cry for help? Well, instead of people crying for help I heard people out there saying, I need a live video from Ariel. Oh, what happened to Ariel? Is he still alive? Can he go live at some point? I heard those cries for a live stream, and I'm here. There's an art museum here. Wow. MC says it's so empty. Yeah, because we're on the 9th Avenue side of Port Authority. Also, we're still kind of in the slow season in New York City. I'm starting to realize, for some reason, things are shifting in terms of tourism. The first 2 weeks of January were actually very full, and there was a lot of people, which surprised me because usually January is very empty in terms of tourism. But for some reason, February and now first day of March, it's still fairly quiet. Cristo says, yes, you heard my cry for help. Susie says, I want to dig deep into how your mind works. Hey, this is a nice sculpture. This is called The Commuters by George Siegel, 1980. And it's called The Commuters. Wow. David P. says, New York City is such a fascinating city. It is. Here you can buy tickets to New Jersey Transit. Here you can go to the bathrooms. I would not recommend it. Find another bathroom. Susie says, seeing grimy Port Authority gives you all the feels. Yeah. Yeah, this is Port Authority Bus Terminal on 42nd Street. This is where you can catch buses all across the U.S. And I think there's some buses that even go to Canada, if anyone can clarify, actually. Ooh, there's an arcade here now. Oh, this is interesting. So arcades were pretty much not allowed in New York City for a long time. That's why you saw very few arcades in New York City, but they're coming back slowly. Murphy says it's between New York City and Rome for me. Oh, I'm glad. I'm glad it's between those two. Oh, you enjoyed the videos. Oh, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate that. Yeah.
Are you filming?
Yeah, I'm doing a live video right now. Yeah. You want to take a photo? Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
Wait, let me clean my...
Oh, yeah, go for it. Go for it. Have a great day. Bye-bye. All right. Fan of short videos. Thank you so much for saying hi. I appreciate it. She was whispering because she didn't want to interrupt the filming. All right, so if you are stuck in Port Authority, and my condolences if you are, but if that is the case, one of the few good bakeries here, and get yourself a black and white cookie from Zaro's. Still a family-owned company, and they're located in the train stations, all three. Penn Station, Grand Central, and here, Port Authority. Remco says, what's the best time to visit New York City? When is it not that busy? So as I mentioned, things are shifting. It used to be January, which was a super quiet month of New York City. For some reason, still unknown to me, there was many more tourists in January here. Places were packed in the first 2 weeks. I think it's just people extended their holiday trips. So right now, the emptier months tend to be late January and February are pretty quiet in New York in terms of tourism. A lot of the museums are quieter. The double-decker buses are not that full. The boat tours are not that full. Murphy says, Ariel, when you're not online, my mental health dips. Sort of true. You give us all energy. Oh, hey Murphy. Sorry to hear about the dip in energy, but yeah, I'm glad I could give that little boost of energy. I'm very honored to hear that. There's a massive beer hall over here called Beer Authority. If you're looking for a quick beer before you're going to Ohio via bus, you can do so. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we're one of my favorite areas. I'm not being sarcastic. I was being sarcastic with Port Authority. Port Authority is as our current U.S. president would use in terms when referring to other countries. He would say shithole. So that's a good example. You saw that gentleman just screaming. In New York City, it's still very safe in New York City, but do always practice street smarts. If you see someone being a bit rowdy, it's better not to really be too near, or if you see someone a bit too standoffish, also better to move to the other side of the street. Hey, Lorraine says, hi everyone, beautiful day. Yeah. So, Port Authority, in my opinion, is just a horrible place. One of the worst places in New York City in terms of just architecture, feeling, the people that tend to linger there. But Garment Center used to be more like Port Authority. Garment District, I mean. But now it's not. Now it's getting better. And it's a place that you're going to walk through if you are touristing here in New York City, because it's between major tourist sites. And there's a few great places here to visit. And then you might be staying in hotels in the Garment District also. Mighty Bull says your engagement through shares and messages can motivate creators to push their boundaries, to try new things. Oh yeah, I'm always pushing the boundaries. So I've gotten this question a lot. People have asked me, should I stay in the Garment District, which is between 41st Street and 34th? At least those are the boundaries I'm going to stick to right now. Should I stay there in a hotel? Generally, I would say you're okay. Just be mindful that some of the hotels, unfortunately, the one we passed right now, which is the Holiday Inn, do have homeless people hanging out in the front. During the daytime, generally, you're okay in most of these hotels, except for a few of the big ones on 8th Avenue.
I wonder what shows you guys go to.
Kay says, I gotta get my legs working up again. Okay, sending healing vibes your way. I hope you can get walking again. I hope you're recovering. Joe says, wow, New York City is always busy. New York City is always busy, yes. And there doesn't cease a day that New York City is not busy. I also had the chance to upgrade my equipment. So today I am using the DJI Osmo Mobile 7P gimbal for the first time in the live stream. And the cool thing is about this gimbal is that it connects directly into a microphone. So I don't need to have a separate mic system. I just have a little DJI mic mini. Pass by a mirror, I'll show you, but I have a little DJI mic mini right here that connects directly to the gimbal, so I don't need to have a bunch of other wires and things like that. It's so awesome. Joe says, could you one day walk through the Alphabet City? Alphabet City, I have done a few live videos in it. There's not much to see in Alphabet City. But yeah, maybe. Susie says, new season, new gimbal. Yes. Valerie says, sweet setup. Oh, yes. Monica says 100%. Irene, nice to see you here. Christos says, cool, thank you for the equipment info. My pleasure, Christos. Kalimera to all the Greek viewers out there. Babe, Bebe says tomorrow's gonna be 22 degrees Fahrenheit. Yep, don't be fooled when you have a beautiful day like today and thinking, oh, spring has arrived. It's a beautiful day. Oh my God, I can get rid of my jackets now. Now I can go out, no more sweaters, just one layer. I can tan outside. I can go to Rockaway Beach. No, tomorrow's gonna be 23 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm sorry to burst your bubble, but spring has not arrived. Don't be fooled when you come here in February or March, or even April. This happens in April too. Hey, this even happens in May. This even happens in June sometimes. Valerie says, very cold. Yes, yes. If people are watching from a warm country, you're not so used to cold temperatures. 22 degrees Fahrenheit is very cold. You will require multiple layers. And it won't be as pleasant to walk around. Miss Lob says, I love this jacket. Hey, Miss Lob, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Glad you do. All right, now we're reaching Penn Station, another favorite of New Yorkers. Or actually, more so, the bane of New Yorkers' existence is Penn Station and Madison Square Garden right over here. But here we have the New Yorker Hotel. Susie says, some of us enjoy extreme cold. Yes. I actually did quite get a taste for the extreme cold. All right, so here at the New Yorker Hotel, there's a secret little museum. Let me know, do you want to check out the secret museum at the New Yorker Hotel? It's open to the public, but most people don't know about it. So you go in, I've shown this before, you go in through the front lobby. And it's an Art Deco, beautiful Art Deco construction. One of the more beautiful Art Deco hotels.
Hopefully they're mine.
Where's the stairway to go downstairs?
Right around the corner, sir.
Right around the corner. Okay. Right by the Starbucks. Okay, thank you.
I'm praying to God, security.
Okay, elevators are down, so we're gonna take the stairs, but usually the escalators are down. Usually the escalators are working, but today they're not, so we gotta go down the stairs. So it's through the entrance, right by the Starbucks, and right here we're going downstairs. No, I was trying to find the staircase. Usually the escalators are working, but they weren't working today. So down through here, down through the stairs or the escalators, you'll reach a little mini museum. One part of it is about the history of the hotel. And the hotel has a long history, being one of the great Art Deco hotels of New York. showing the big dinners. For example, they had a dinner with Rosa Parks here, which I made a video of recently. Rosa Parks is right there. They had the world's largest barbershop, 42 chairs, 20 manicurists. They had a ballroom. This is how the lobby looked back in the 1930s. And then this, right here, ladies and gentlemen, is the little mini museum dedicated to the most famous patron of this hotel, a man who went on to change the world, immigrated from Central Europe, either Yugoslavia or Serbia, depends on who you ask, and came all the way over here in order to reignite the world through light. And that man was, of course, Nikola Tesla. He lived here for the last years of his life and died in this very hotel. He died at the ripe old age of around 81. It's disputed how old he was, but he died around early 80s. Arnell says it looks like pictures from The Shining, the ones of the hotel. Yes, I think that's what The Shining was going for. Here's Nikola Tesla towards the end of his life. He died while taking a walk outside. He loved his long walks through Midtown Manhattan. If I recall correctly, he got hit by a car and he just kept walking by, but he had injuries that led to his death. Of course, he was already pretty frail at that point of his life. This is a bust of Nikola Tesla in what appears to be in his 40s. And this is an interesting detail right over here, is the pigeon. So Nikola Tesla, usually on his walks, he would go from this hotel all the way to Bryant Park, and he would go specifically to the corner of 40th Street and 6th Avenue. And he would feed pigeons at that corner, and it would become known as Nikola Tesla Corner. But he fell in love with one specific pigeon, and this pigeon was an albino pigeon with gray tips. And towards the end of his life, he said to a journalist, which there actually might be some evidence here of it, but he said to a journalist, he would frequently entertain journalists that would come over to the hotel, coming from all parts of the world, but many of them coming from his homeland of Serbia and Yugoslavia. They would come over here just asking questions about his life. And he said towards the last few days of his life, he said that that white pigeon came swooping in to his hotel room through the open window. And the pigeon suddenly had wide glowing red eyes, and red beams came out of its eyes. And he said to the journalist, at that moment he knew that his work was done. And he passed just a few days later. That pigeon is depicted right over here. It's called Tesla's dove. All right, that was fun. So you can spend quite a bit of a while in this little secret museum. Highly recommend coming. Susie says, did he do drugs? Actually, no. Tesla, I don't think, was known to really drink nor do any drugs. No. At that time, when he would have passed, I think the main drug of choice would have been morphine or cocaine, or at least a version of cocaine. He wasn't, I don't think he was doing anything. Okay, so that little secret museum was located at the New Yorker Hotel at the corner of 34th and 8th Avenue. So a little bit more about the Tesla story. Tesla, when he died, right after he died, his apartment was ransacked by the Department of Alien Affairs, if I recall correctly. It was something along those lines. And this department basically kept track of high-profile foreigners who were based in the U.S. One of them being Nikola Tesla. But Nikola Tesla frequently talked to these journalists also about inventing what was called a death ray. He said that he already came up with the plans to make a beam of light so strong that it can melt an entire fleet of planes at a great distance. So they ransacked his home and they sent those papers to one of the top MIT engineers. And do you know who that MIT engineer is? Let me know in the comments. Tesla was all the way at the 33rd floor. That MIT engineer was not Elon Musk. Long before Elon Musk was born, that MIT engineer was John G. Trump. And immediately you're probably asking yourself, wait, what? Any relation? Trump, you know, it is a name that is used. You know, it's not too rare. But no, John G. Trump was the uncle of Donald Trump. Those files, still to this day, have not been released in full. So we really don't know what were the plans that Tesla died with. Slav says it's been a 3 wow stream so far. Oh wow. Good to hear. Glad you've been wowed by my facts. Barbara says that bit of information just gave me chills. Okay, wait, there's more. In the early 1900s, there was a duo of novels published, two-parter. And this two-parter of novels talked about a father and his young kid going on time-traveling adventures. In the second novel, the father becomes president. Do you know the name of the main character of this duo of novels published in the early 1900s. I think it was like around 1904. The name of the main kid character was Baron Trump. I'm not making that up. That's a real novel. 2 novels written in the early 1900s. I forgot the names of the novels. If anyone can find it out and put it in the comments, I appreciate it. You know, that is a crazy coincidence. Murphy says, no way, Jose. No, those novels can be found online. Still to this day. Mika says, I can't stand hearing these names. Susie says, what are your thoughts on Elon Musk? I don't discuss politics. Only crazy coincidences with political figures. Almost says, did someone take the T word? Yeah, I think the T word now is okay. It wasn't okay for a while on social media. Now it is. Ulia, sorry, I can't read. I think that's Russian. Thank you so much, Murphy. Murphy is putting the information down. It says that the Baron Trump novels are 2 children's novels written in 1889 and 1893 by American author and lawyer called Ingersoll Lockwood. They remained obscure until 2017 when they were resurfaced. And there we go. Hey, Isabel, thank you so much for tuning in. Wendy says, what part of town are we in? So we just transitioned from the Garment District right by the New Yorker Hotel. That's where the Garment District ends, right here by the train station. And now we're entering the neighborhood of Chelsea. Peanut says, long time no see. First time you came up in my feed was a year ago. I've been following you ever since. Oh, thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. Wendy says, you went here to have food with your son, had a yummy meal. Yeah, Chelsea is a good place for restaurants. They can be a bit expensive. Chelsea is one of the more expensive neighborhoods of New York City. So be warned, but there's a few great food spots here. Valerie says, I'm getting an IV infusion, making everyone watch. This smiling, I could put you on the hospital TV. Hey, Valerie. Oh, wow. Well, Valerie, I hope you're okay. I hope you recover well. Glad you're getting the medical attention you need. And wow, okay, I'm glad you're smiling enjoying this live stream as doing something that probably is not that easy. I'll be honored to be put on the hospital TV. So here we have this big building right here is the Fashion Institute of Technology, FIT. It's one out of 3 major fashion schools in New York City. The other 2 being, oh actually 4 schools. The other 3 being New School, Parsons School of Design, and the Long Island School of Merchandise. Fashion Merchandising, LIM. Solar Plexus says lots of lunatics in the street. Indeed, there's more than there used to be. Not in every neighborhood though, but yes. Have your wits about you when you're walking around. You don't need to walk around in fear, but practice street smarts. If someone's weird, walk the other side of the street. It's okay. Don't worry. It's not rude, it's just city life. Yulia says you speak like a European man, not American. Yulia, remember US comes in all different ways of speaking, different cultures. The US is not just a monolith of one culture, one way of speaking, one accent. It's a multitude. DA says, are you not seeing all the chat? I am, I just I can't respond to everything all the time, but do my best. Silvio from Brazil. Oi, tudo bem? Empresa says hace calor, is it hot? Sí, 58 grados Fahrenheit. So es bastante caluroso, no tanto, poquito de lejante. No necesito un jacket tan fuerte. So it's 58 degrees Fahrenheit, it's not too bad. I might not need this heavy jacket. I'm starting to get a little bit hot here. Gabriella from Italy. Oh, buongiorno. Joe says, am I in a tough neighborhood? No. No, Chelsea is relatively calm and pretty expensive neighborhood. Oh, Murphy is saying there's also comments on Facebook, yes. Robin says, nice looking jacket. It is. Is it windy? Says Kay. Yeah, it is. It's very windy. Susie says there's a new Target in Chelsea. There is. Huh.
I mean, they somebody moving to one of these buildings down here. My dream comes true right there. I'm back in Chelsea. Here. We got worried about getting to the car park and get the right way. Okay, find your park, copy up. Good luck.
Is that or do you want me to right?
Wow, that was a long scaffolding hallway. Benoit. Bonjour, Benoit. Valerie says fancy walkway. I wouldn't call it fancy.
Oh yeah, I love this shed.
Joe says, how far are you going? Oh, wherever life takes me. There's a little bit of traffic here. Miss Dramatica says, I miss these lives. Oh, I am glad you did. Benoit says, oh, bonjour. Bonjour. As they say in Normandy, yes. Normandy. I want to go back to Normandy one of these days. Contrast as people don't know how to walk. Indeed, sometimes you do encounter traffic jams in New York City. Happens quite often. Susie says, endless construction. There is. It never ends. Always goes and goes and goes. The city is never fully built. Doreen says, you know every square inch of New York City. I do. I even know that one. I know that one over there. Yeah, I know every square inch. Chelsea's a big neighborhood, so it runs basically from 34th Street all the way down to 14th. Yulia says, where are you going? I'm just walking downtown. No particular direction, just south. The weather looks so nice there, says Peanuts. It really is. The weather is gorgeous. Russell says, good evening, great to have you found again. Hey man, thank you so much for tuning in, I appreciate that. Catherine says, great to see you live again. Catherine, how are you doing, Catherine? Wendy says, great walk, I love it. Yeah. We start at 42nd Street, let's see how far we can go down. Let's see in an hour how many streets we went down. Gives you a sense. I walk at a pretty fast pace though, so keep that in mind. All right, coffee shop recommendation. Right across the street is one of my favorite cafes. There's 3 of them in the city. Highly recommend going to any of them. It's a nice sit-down cafe. It's called Fellini. And this one's located at the corner of 22nd Street and 8th Avenue. So when it comes to directions in the city. I get this comment ever so often. People are like, yeah, but what's the address? Addresses won't be as helpful in New York City. You know why? Because New York City is a very walking city. And even if you were taking a train, if you're taking a taxi, it's good to just know the intersection as opposed to the exact address. Because the exact address won't tell you necessarily what the cross street or cross avenue is. So I always prefer to think in Manhattan, and this applies to other parts, like in parts of Brooklyn, parts of Queens as well. It's better to think in terms of intersection. So when I say this is on 22nd Street and 8th Avenue, that's all you need to know because you'll know how to walk there. Because here the street numbers go up one way for First Street all the way to the 200s towards Uptown Manhattan, and the avenues only go one way as well, from Avenue 1 to Avenue 11 or so. I don't think there's a 12. So that's all you need to know in Manhattan. It's all a grid, except for a few places. The entire island is gridded, so you really only need to know intersections. And so when I say intersections, better remember that as opposed to an actual address. And this applies to taxis. If you're telling a taxi, tell them, oh, I'm going to Cafe Fellini, 231 8th Avenue. A taxi driver won't know automatically. Some will, most won't. So they'll need to search it up on their GPS, or you have to search it up on your GPS, and they'll ask you for the cross street. So when you get into a taxi, yellow taxi that is, just tell them the intersection and they'll know where you're going. DA says, will you buzz the beard? No, I'm going for a Gandalf beard. Full Gandalf with the pipe and the gray robes. Stay tuned. I am in my Ariel the Grey era. Solar says, have a coffee. I already had 3 coffees today. I don't think I can have any more. Otherwise, I will explode. And it won't be nice if I explode. I don't want to explode. Picard, nice to see you here. Thank you so much for tuning in. Do you know any good pizza shops around? So this is Joe. Yeah, Joe, great question. There's a lot of pizza in New York City. And you can go to so many places. In Chelsea specifically, off the top of my head, I really don't have a big recommendation. I would say Grimaldi's might be still open, but I'm not 100% sure. In general, for pizza, I would recommend going to 2 main neighborhoods in Manhattan to have some of the best pizza. Greenwich Village. There you can have Joe's, you can have Bleecker Street Pizza, you can have John's on Bleecker, and there's a few others. There's Mama's too, as well. Le Industry, I think now is in the Village. Go to Greenwich Village / West Village for some of the better pizzas. Aside from that, my personal favorite is to go to the Nolita / Chinatown area of New York, or Nolita. Go to Ceres, Ceres, Manero's, Lombardi's, and Prince Street. So those are the 2 neighborhoods, Nolita and West Village, or Greenwich Village. It's kind of in between both neighborhoods, but the Village. Go to Greenwich Village or Nolita. Best pizzerias in general there. I have a full New York City guide available for purchase, and they list out all those pizzerias that I just mentioned. Otherwise, there are great pizza shops scattered all throughout Manhattan, but if you want to have fun pizza hopping, trying a few slices with your family or with people, If you're with a few other people, then highly recommend going to those two neighborhoods. Susie says there's a Detroit pizza place here in Chelsea. Yes, there is. We passed it. It's lions, tigers, and squares, and it's pretty damn good. Potato says yes on the pizza. Indeed. Here's a great restaurant called Lulu. How about Upper West Side, says George. Upper West Side, in my opinion, is a bit lacking in pizza. There's Mama's too on 103rd, 104th, 105th, something along those lines. Yeah, I don't like the Upper West Side too much in pizza. You'll find some good Italian pizza shops like Song in Napoli. But otherwise, New York City pizza, it's a bit lacking in Upper West Side. Remco says, have a drink on me. Thank you for the streaming. I don't think I can have a drink right now. I'm feeling a bit under the weather. But maybe if I bump into a quick bite of food, I can try it out. But thank you so much for the super chat. Kind super chat for €6. I appreciate that. Thank you. Susie says you owe me a visit to Lasagna Restaurant. I do, yeah. I think we passed it. Yeah, it's right down there in the corner. Yeah, indeed. Choose says, where am I? I'm in Chelsea, corner of 8th Avenue and 18th Street. Red Allen says, Juliana's. Yes, a third great neighborhood to visit for pizza is Dumbo, Brooklyn. There's at least 2 great pizzerias there, which is Juliana's and Ignacio's. So let me know. There's this corner apartment. I'm very curious to hear your opinions. Someone earlier sent me a super chat. I think I missed it. Let me know who sent it. Let me know. Would you live in a corner apartment like this, right on a major avenue like 8th? Like the building does look nice. It looks a little bit like an office, but I do like the vibes. However, it's so exposed. Like it feels like you're right on the street, which is cool, but it's like on the major avenue. So let me know your thoughts. Especially with the window so big. Doreen says no. Mika says no, never. Stefan is asking about food in the Upper West Side. Well, Upper West Side has a lot of great restaurants, and they vary. You can find Italian American, you can find Georgian food, Middle Eastern, Mediterranean, Spaniard. There's a lot of foods. George says, for view of the action, yes. Not for me, says Valerie. To each their own. Shauna says, a little bit too modern. Joe says, pretty noisy. I mean, I bet those windows are thick, but if you open them, it'll be a bit noisy, actually. The very top corner does look nice. It has a little bit more privacy because it's set back. Almo says, extroverts would love it, yes. B Noble says the developer wants you to feel as like you're living right on the street. You know, like in the smaller European street, I think this building would look so charming, but it's such a big avenue, it feels too exposed. I would not live there. Solar says, I think the photo district is dead. Yes, I think we were close to Adorama and a few of the other. I think the only major photo store left in that area of Flatiron, which we did not walk through, but we were adjacent to that neighborhood. I think, or parallel to that neighborhood, I think it has disappeared. There's only really one or two or three major photo stores. Or one, which is Adorama. B Noble says, thank you for the mention. My pleasure. B Noble. Appreciate you tuning in. Doreen says, I prefer the West Village. The West Village is nice. Amy says, well, you live there. That's why I ask. It's like in my opinion, I'm not a fan of too many of these modern minimalistic buildings, but I kind of like it. I like how wide the apartment looks. I like the large windows, and I like that it has balconies, but I would not live there because it's so exposed. Hey, Mater knows my dream apartment. No comment, Mater. Yep. Only 27 million away from getting that apartment. Reggie says, what's up? Reggie, what's up, Reggie? Thank you so much for tuning in, Reggie. I hope you're doing well, Reggie. Benoit says, no shirt. Well, it is hot. Hot today. It's not really that hot. But here in New York City, men or women, or any other gender you might identify with, you can be shirtless. That's the beauty of New York. It is a law. So if you are a woman who's topless, you cannot be arrested. No matter the reason, you don't need to provide a reason. Doesn't, not only if you're breastfeeding, literally, you can be topless legally in New York City. But almost no one does it. I have not seen, I've only seen maybe very few times in my life here anyone take advantage of that law. So this right here is Google. Google bought this entire block. Look how massive this building is. We're here at 8th Avenue, 16th Street. It extends all the way down to 9th Avenue, right by the Chelsea Market. So Google bought this entire building. It was one of the largest real estate sales in New York City history up until when they bought it, which was like 5 or 6 years ago. Actually, a bit longer than that, about 9 years ago. And guess how much, what do you think is the price for this building? Again, this is an entire block from 8th Avenue to 9th Avenue. It's like Macy's, which is a very similar situation, which is also an entire block. How much do you think this building is worth? How much do you think Google paid for it, actually? Derek says, I thought this was a walking commuter. No, I am not walking commuter. We might have similar voices, but no, I'm not walking commuter. Joe says, how many people work here? A lot. I wish I knew the number, but if I were to venture a guess, I would say in the thousands. But I don't know the number. I wish I did. George is guessing 1 billion. Think higher, George. Higher. Higher. All right, we got 1 billion, but we got to go even higher. This used to be the Port Authority, the Port of New York Authority. So this was a governmental building back in the day. Christos guessed 325 million. 325 million would be a steal. If this was worth 325 million, I would buy it just to save money. This is great. I would find a loan from a bank, buy it myself, because that's a steal. Ooh, Jim is going a bit too high. 44 billion. No, not quite. And then Russell's saying 2.4 billion. No. Great guesses all around. And I actually commend a lot of people saying in the low billions. It would be apt to say it's in the low billions. And I say a lot of lots of land that are pretty big in New York would probably be maximum a few $100 million. But this one was worth $27 billion for that. Now it's probably worth double that. So whoever guessed 44 billion is probably correct for the current value. Miss Dramatica says, giving dystopian vibes. Oh, I kind of like the building. It's a brick building, massive. Look how far it extends. Solar says Elon Musk could buy that building and fire 50% of the people. I wouldn't doubt he would. That's pocket change for Elon Musk. Pocket change. What a joke that one made so much wealth. That's perfect. Yeah, I mean, yeah, these tech companies worth tons. And that says, was it tax-free? I don't know what the tax situation is. If I were to venture a guess, but don't quote me on this, I would say there probably was some type of incentive for Google moving into the middle of Manhattan. So New York City probably provided some tax break, but I doubt it was tax-free. All right, let me know if you would live in these apartments. Oh my God, this is even more prominent. What? Who would live here? Okay, so now we are at one of the other double wide streets. So in 1 hour, ladies and gentlemen, how many blocks did we walk? Do the math. We went from 42nd Street to 14th Street right now. Nearly the same avenue. We were starting at 9th, but we just went one avenue over. Now we're in 8th. 42nd to 14th. $32 blocks. Kay did the math. Thank you, Kay. 32 blocks. 32 blocks we walked. Each 10 blocks in New York City is an estimated 1 mile. Depends on where you are in the city. It's about 1 mile long. So we walked 3.2 miles long. We took our time. Tanya says, keep going, we miss you. All right. Potato says I'm a slow walker.
Hey!
Slow walker only because I'm going on. I'm taking my time. But yes, it's possible to do this walk a bit faster. I think, yeah, this walk, I think the fastest you can walk it is probably 40 minutes. It's probably the fastest without running. Running at a fast pace, you can do this in 25 minutes, 26 minutes. Out and about, Lizzo, nice to see you here, welcome. Valerie says, I think you got your steps in today. Indeed, I did get my steps in today. Tyler, welcome, nice to see you here. Derek, welcome. Okay, so apparently there's a burger place hidden inside this gasoline station. You guys want to check it out? permitting that the line is not crazy long. Let me know. Who wants a burger taste test? Joe says now you can go Union Square Park. I think I'm going to take you down to the West Village for one very important reason. West Village and / Greenwich Village is the main location for the movie A Complete Unknown, starring Timothy Chalamet as Bob Dylan. And that movie is available on live streaming. So I will be going live to do a live review / Urbanist Q&A after I watch the movie.
I've already had 2.
I will be announcing this week, so stay tuned. It'll be late this week, maybe Thursday or Friday. Stay tuned. Let me know if you want to see my reaction / review to A Complete Unknown. Joe Gia says yes. All right, let's see if the burger place is open.
Yeah.
So this place is called Smacking Burger. Fellow New York City content creator by the name of Here Be Bar came here. Well, let's see if we can walk in. got the burger and going to try it out. Hey, how's it going, guys? Don't mind me.
Are you doing Instagram?
YouTube. All right.
What's your YouTube by channel?
It's called Urbanist Exploring Cities.
Urbanist?
Exploring Cities. All right. So this is a famous burger located inside a gasoline station, and I got the classic smash burger. So let's try this out. And then make their own special sauce. Oh my god, that looks so delicious. Look at that. Smash burger, all smashed up, nice and caramelized, American cheese. We got onions, we got a big slab of pickle on a potato bun. Oof. I've been on the quest to find the best burgers in New York City, and let's see if this stacks up.
Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah,
But my
no worries.
brother owns this place.
Your brother owns this place. Oh man, great operation. This is the first time I'm trying it. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
good, try
It's good.
it.
Oh, cool. How long has it been running it?
Like, it opened in April.
April. Oh, cool, cool. Okay. Oh, awesome. All right. Let's try it without the sauce first. It's solid, man. Really good. Compliments to your brother. It's a really, really great burger. Nice and soft, juicy. That's the tough thing with the smash burger, is you want it smashed, you want it caramelized, but you also want it juicy. You don't want it to lose its juiciness. And wow, that's delicious. Oof. Oh. I love the soft potato bun. Someone, a few people are saying, is this too expensive? No, I only spend the $6 on this, and it's good. It's good to have a burger that's kind of the more snack size versus something really big. That's why I really like smash burgers. They don't tend to be too overwhelming, especially if you buy a single smash burger like this. I'll try it out with the sauce. We'll see how it is. Oh my. I'm just bringing back memories. Like childhood burgers. Wow. Oh, that's so delicious. Yeah, this is a solid smash burger. I'm glad it's hidden inside a gasoline station. It's like the coolest thing ever. Hey, Reggie says, was this on the crime show? Law and Order, I'm not sure if they film Law and Order here often. Will this make one? Will this one tear you up like it did in Sweden? No, no. This one, Sweden was a unique case. Crystal says, good price. Yes, $6, not too bad. Girl in the Curl says, like, I could use something like In-N-Out. Yeah, In-N-Out has kind of a refreshing taste to it. I like these smash burgers that were, a lot of them are popping up in New York City. They have kind of this like good greasy flavor to them. Not overwhelming, but it's like kind of a hearty taste that I like. Roxanne, thank you so much for the $20 super chat. Oh, Roxanne is sponsoring this burger. Thank you so much. You should be able to eat a burger with one hand. Yes, indeed. Classic American burger, one hand. Doesn't need to be overwhelming. You don't need to have a massive thing where the moment you bite into it, it just slabs a puddle of liquid. You don't need that in your life. Sometimes all you need is a good classic smash burger.
You want a big burger?
Roxanne says have 3 more. I can beat
Oh,
the
is everything
Man,
set?
the burger's great. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Hey, Wendy says I'm hungry. This is not helping. That's the risk you take when watching my live streams. And they give it even a little burger looking candy as a little dessert. I'll keep this. Girl Nicole says I love a good smash burger, and they're becoming very popular in New York City. There's a few great places in this neighborhood alone. I recommend Smacking Burger here at the entrance of West Village, right by Chelsea. It's worth it. Now let's explore more of the village. Have a great day, guys. Have a good meal. All right, so Smacking Burger is located right at the mobile, right here. Smacking Burger, hidden inside the little store area of the gasoline station. There's not that many gasoline stations in New York, so you won't get lost. Can you smell the gasoline? It's a small gasoline station, only 2 stations. 4. Wow. Oh my. I'm blown away. That was a great burger. Oh, I'm so happy I had that. Ooh. So how would this go on the ranking? Smashed is still my favorite. Let's look in here in the West Village a bit deeper. Further down this way. This is either my number 2 or my number 3. I have to have Burger by Day again, which is so far my number 2. But this is top 3. Better than Gotham Burger Club. And there was another one, Burger America, I think was the name. I was highly disappointed by that one. So this is in my top 3 now. 7th Street Burger, actually, is also really good. Mater says, can we see the mural? Oh, the mural was of Scrooge McDuck. Munich says that you had a gasoline station burger? I did. So now we have transitioned into the West Village. Murphy says, what Swedish burger are you talking about? I did a 6-hour live stream through Stockholm, Sweden, that towards the end I had one of the best burgers in my life. It wasn't a smash burger, it was a classic burger, and meaning a thicker patty. And it blew me away so much that I was moved to tears. Moved to tears when I had that burger. You can go back and search Urbanist Stockholm, and the one that's 6 hours long, that's the one. LIB says, quick burger. Yes, it was a quick burger run.
I don't think she was.
No, I thought she's not.
No, yeah, she was like vegan.
Susie says there's a food place hidden inside the gasoline station here in Bushwick.
Yeah.
What type of food is that, Susie? Mika says it was Barrels in Stockholm, in Gamla Stan. Yes. Yes, it was. Great burger. Murphy says, oh, I gotta go back and watch the video. Yes, enjoy it. It's one of my more epic live streams. A lot of stuff happened in that live stream. I ran into a film crew. I got, unfortunately, chased down by a angry man that was not sweet. I got invited to that burger place. I tried one of the better New York style pizzas in the middle of Stockholm. A lot of stuff happened. Solar says, does Planet Hollywood still exist? I don't think so. I think Planet Hollywood closed down quite a while ago. Yeah, I think Planet Hollywood, I think the only thing that survived setting up that type of restaurant is Hard Rock Cafe. But if you're in the mood for a very stereotypical touristy restaurant, go to Dallas Barbecue in Times Square, in my opinion. It's the best mega restaurant of New York City. Joe says, did you ever have Steak and Shake? I think I saw it many years ago. I remember still seeing those type of places. I never had them, ever. Kay says, ooh, I remember that video. Yeah. Good times. All right, so here we're at Hudson Street. Girl in the curl says, we were stuck in the tornado. Yes, we were stuck in the whirlwind right there. Hey, Solar says, I was enjoying a nice good glass of red wine as I was enjoying that burger. That's awesome. Barbara says, I think you're right by the White Horse Tavern. I am. Where one of the more famous writers of the 20th century died. What was his name? And apparently he still haunts this bar. I forgot the guy's name. Mr. Dave says, how do you like the DJI Osmo Mobile 7P? That's what I'm using right now. I am loving it. This place is always packed. I do want to show you the inside at some point. Joe says this is your old stomping grounds. Hey Joe, yeah. Let me know, how was the village back in the day? That's why I'm excited to see the Bob Dylan movie, because they show the village, they depict it as it was in the 1950s, 1960s. Joe says not much has changed. Ooh, all right, that's good to hear. Are there scooters in New York as Empress? No, no, unfortunately not. Scooters were outlawed or banned many years ago. It was about like, I think 8-9 years ago it was banned, which is a grand shame. I think scooters are a great form of transportation. You can ride them, you can buy your own scooter, but there's no rentable scooters. Gia says, was it Dylan Thomas who haunts the bar of the White Horse Tavern? Yes, Dylan Thomas. That's the poet writer. This is one of my favorite stores. I'm not going to walk in because it's a tiny store, but if you want to buy unique goods in New York City or unique souvenirs, this is one of the more interesting stores that you can find in New York City. They have magazines from all around the world. They have unique souvenirs. They have some interesting clothing. This is Air Mail. Highly, highly recommend checking them out. And Air Mail is located at Hudson and Perry Street. So while we're right now on a major avenue, this side of the village, Greenwich Village and West Village, is not conforming to the grid of Manhattan. So, and the reason for that is it was exempted, along with downtown Manhattan financial district, Greenwich Village and West Village, and maybe a few streets further uptown, are the very few exceptions of the grid. So here it is not going to be numbered streets, or sometimes the numbered streets are going to intersect in weird ways. So that's why we're seeing main streets here at this point. This grid system dates back all the way to Lenape Native American times, where they had their own trails set up. Then the Dutch paved roads on those trails, and then they basically, the British and then the Americans end up making this the street grid. So this street grid is very old. Predates the street grid that was built in 1811. And Joe says we're losing your voice. So, can you hear me now? Is it because of the wind? Not bad now? Yeah, it sucks. It's a bit windy. Seems like this mic might not be the strongest against the wind. Wow, this is full.
Why are you wearing such nice clothes?
This is one of the more popular Italian restaurants called the Trucy.
I did not notice that.
So as you're walking the West Village, do pay attention, because you'll see very old buildings. Some of the older buildings in Manhattan are in this neighborhood. But it's also a mishmash, because you see some buildings that are from the 50s or so. This one that seems highly refurbished, probably is new. And then we have buildings from the era of the tenements of the 20s, 30s, and 40s. But buildings like this are from the mid-1800s or 1870s or so. Buildings like this as well are from the mid-1800s. This is when there was almost nothing in this neighborhood. And this right here, ladies and gentlemen, is, in my opinion, the best smashed burger in New York City. Smacking Burger is in my top 4, but smashed is still number 1. So if you want an excellent smashed burger, aside from smacking, go to this one as well. Are you using a dead cat, says Mr. Dave. I am indeed. So smacking smash burger, one of the best smash burgers in New York City.
Just to be like, oh look.
This neighborhood has so much to offer. So many cafes, so many restaurants. Though the restaurants are going to be more expensive here than other neighborhoods in New York. And then there's a secret garden. Let me know if you want to see the secret garden of the West Village. I've shown this on live videos before, so if you're a long-time Urbanist viewer, you already know where I'm going. But if you're not, you will be dazzled. You will be surprised. Out and about sounds, it sounds kinky. How does it sound kinky? Sounds like the phone mic. Not lavalier, says Almo. Are you guys not hearing me with this mic? Or is my voice very low right now? Otherwise, you should, if the mic is working, you should be hearing me very clearly with this mic right next to my mouth. It's a little low. I'm not sure what's happening. Repeat the name of the burger places. The one I tried is called Smacking Burger. S-M-A-C-K-I-N-G. My number one still, after trying many burgers in New York City, is called Smashed. Let me know if you can clear me. It's low. Oh my, I need to raise the volume on this mic. That's a shame. I gotta find a way to put this mic volume up.
Yeah, I saw that.
Were you guys able to hear me earlier? I just reconnected my mic. Let me know. Okay, I reconnected my mic. Let me know if it's better. I'm not sure what happened. New hardware. Sometimes there's issues. You guys are hearing me clearly now? Good. Good. So, on the corner of Barrow Street and Hudson, I'm going to zoom in on the street intersection, is this garden. This is St. Luke's in the Field Garden. And it's a nice little quiet respite from the hustle and bustle of New York City, especially if you're in the busy West Village area. After touristing around and seeing a bunch of different things, you may want to have a little moment of quiet respite, which I need. My voice is going out. It's because I have a little bit of a sore throat. So we're going to do that quiet respite now. So this is the corner. Oof. Barrow and Hudson. St. Luke's in the Field, Barrow Street Garden. Let's go inside. Be quiet. Now you gotta be quiet. Can't talk too loud. Hey Murphy, with the £5 super chat. Oh, Murphy, I am missing the UK and I want to go back. So thank you so much for that £5 super chat and a reminder of how beautiful the UK is. Wow, here we see what appears to have been an old chapel. Look at that. I wonder how old this is. First time I really noticed this facade. Wow. Okay, let's do a bench review. There's bird poo all around this bench. I don't want the bird flu. So a few points minus because of bird flu. But aside from that, don't open your mouth and look up. Aside from that, this is a comfy bench. It's quiet, it's relaxing. I like this like back area. I feel really secluded here as opposed to, usually this garden is pretty quiet, but it's a Saturday, it's warm, so that's why there's a lot of people. But it felt a little bit too noisy over there. So here I feel a little bit more calmer. I'm right by old church ruins. This is something that's bringing me back to the UK, you know, like Glastonbury, where I went to an amazing place to have a nice quiet respite on live video. I give this bench an 8.6 out of 10. Okay, I think bird poo's falling, so I like my good luck, but I don't need that much good luck. Like I don't want that much good luck if it involves being pooped on the head. So let's continue walking. I'll take my good luck in other ways. Murphy says, thank you. I'm so grateful for the live stream. Oh, I'm so glad you learned so much through this live stream. Well, you're going to learn more. I don't know. I got another cool place up my sleeve. But if you're tired of learning, you're like, I've been learning so much. Like, Ariel, this is overwhelming. Like, please stop telling me cool facts. Please stop showing me cool buildings. If that's the case, I will stop. Let me know now, because we're very close to one of the most iconic places, if you're a fan of TV, that takes place in New York City. Murphy, I appreciate you watching. Thank you so much. Robin says, thank you so much for keeping me company while I clean the kitchen and the living room. My pleasure, Robin. Susie says, my brain hurts. Barbara says, don't stop. Doreen says, hidden gems in New York are amazing. High Place says, no, keep going. Munish says, huge fan of TV shows. All right, if you guys insist. This is gotta get oriented. This on Barrow. I think I might need to go one block down. I want to be able to give you good direction. So we're walking southward on Hudson. And while this neighborhood is amazing, it's easy to get a little bit lost in it. So let's see if I can show you the easiest way to see one of the most famous houses in all of New York. Hey, look at this little garden. Oh.
I don't hear that. I don't hear you. You're here. I need to get into the ribs.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so it's not here. It's the block I was going to turn on. So we're going to turn on Barrow. I just forgot exactly what block it was because they all look very similar. But we're going to get to the place. Just you wait. Or John, nice to see you here. Paul V, welcome. All right, we're turning on Barrow, and we're on Hudson. Entire staff says, provided there's no test afterwards, keep that info flowing. Yes, there is a test. If you fail, you won't be allowed to watch another Urbanist live stream. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Those are the rules. Oh, look, a charming little, what appears to be a restaurant here. Wow. Jim says greetings. Greetings, Jim. How you doing? There's a lot of people here. I'm not sure why. So I basically turned one street too late, so, but it's right here. One of the more famous shows ever made in New York City history. I would say there's two big sitcoms that end up getting some of the most amount of viewership in the world. What are those two sitcoms? One of them does not take place in this neighborhood, and that's my personal favorite. But there's a second one that takes place mostly in this neighborhood and takes place in this building. Not shot here, the interiors, but the exteriors were right here. A show that showed the power of friendship, unlike the other show. The other show showed a different side of life in New York. Yes, Munish is right. The two famous sitcoms of New York is Seinfeld and Friends. Seinfeld, wasn't really about the power of friendship. Seinfeld was more about the comedy of everyday life. But Friends was about the power of friendship. And this is the Friends building. Right here, ladies and gentlemen. Cue the music. Right here, the Friends building. Central Perk would have been located at the base level. Of course, Central Perk is not a real cafe. There's no cafe called Central Perk in New York City, though it probably was based on a similar looking cafe in the Village. And this is located on Hudson and Bedford and Grove. Hudson and Bedford. And here's a tour group about to talk about the Friends building. This is so popular. So I say this story every time I'm here, but the first few episodes, you can see the characters panting a little bit going up to the apartment. And they mention very vaguely that the apartment is very cheap despite the size. And the reason for that was that originally in the first season, the apartment actually took place in the 5th floor. So it was a 5th floor walk-up, which if you are walking up more than 4 stories, it's pretty intense living in the 5th floor walk-up. And hence the apartments tend to be cheaper. But then it was explained that then they changed the apartment to a lower level. And then it was explained that the apartment was so cheap because it was rent controlled and it belonged to the grandmother of Monica and Ross. And basically they had to stay quiet that the grandmother no longer lived in the apartment and they were there. So that's why there's certain moments in the series where they're like, shh, don't say that we're living here. Say that my grandmother's here. And it's because they were staying in a rent-controlled apartment, probably for very, very cheap. And for context, here in the West Village today, apartments are very expensive. So if you stay like in a 1-bedroom, you probably are paying minimum $4,000. In a rent-controlled apartment, you're probably paying about $800 to $1,200. That's how cheap it could get if you're in a rent-controlled apartment in New York City, in the West Village. Murphy says that's mad. It is mad. Rent control, basically, people end up getting apartments that the rent was basically frozen, or the landowner can only raise the rent about 3% a year. So if you got there just in time when these rent control laws were passed, and they've been passed a few times throughout the past century, you basically got a great deal for life. So that's why in New York City, you might be puzzled, like how can people afford to live here? Especially if you're older, if you look at some of the elderly people, like how are they affording to live here? A good chance is that they are in a rent-controlled apartment. If you see someone who's like in their 70s, clearly not working, a good chance is that they're in an apartment and they're spending 300, 400, 500, maybe 1,200 per month. That's it. Murphy says, what takes rent control? Each city is different. In New York City, I don't know the specifics, but in general, not every apartment is going to be rent controlled. Only older units. I think the units have to be older than 1950s or so. And then not every unit before the 1950s is going to be rent controlled. So it really does depend. I don't know the laws off the top of my head. Cheryl says, that jacket looks good on you. Oh, thank you so much, Cheryl. I appreciate that. Auntie says, or they win the housing lottery. Yes, there's very few housing lottery compared to the people who sign up for it. I think the housing lottery waiting list is in the hundreds of thousands, if not a million more. And then there's not that many affordable housing lottery units. I think they are in the hundreds, not in the thousands. Okay, so I mentioned earlier that there's two neighborhoods in New York City that are great for pizza, especially if you want to try different slice shops. This is one of the neighborhoods. We got Bleecker Street Pizza right over here, one of the better slice shops in New York City. A little bit further down, we have Mama's Two's, another great slice shop. And then I'll show you down here on Bleecker that there's two more pizza shops that you should try when you're here. Jim says, it's coffee time? No, I can't. I already had 3 coffees. Too much coffee. Remco says, so $4K a month, if you work for your salary, it needs to be high. Yes, in New York City, most apartments, you would require 40 times the salary in order to be accepted. The competition is so high, and there's so few apartments in New York that landlords mostly require 40 times the salary of the rent. So if you want to live in the Village for a normal apartment, say 1 bedroom for $4,000 per month or more, 4,000 times 40. Do the math. It's too much. So here's another great pizzeria. This is a pizza restaurant. They only sell pies here, but if you come here with the family, come here with a few friends, or you're on a tour group, there's another great pizza place to visit. Iconic, classic New York City style pizza. I have a video where I show the pizza. Search Urbanist John's of Bleecker Street, and you'll find it. You can also take it to go, so if you all wait in line and stay at the restaurant, it's a nice day or hotels nearby, then order it to go and have it there. Munish says, do I know Action Kid? Yes, I know him personally. We've hung out many times, on video and off video. So now we're on Bleecker Street and we're basically walking from west side to the east side of Manhattan at the moment. And this is a great strip of restaurants here and food places. If you all have great classic Italian heroes, I'm not sure how to pronounce this. Fascios?
I've never been out.
Fascio?
All my friends from Costa.
Facchio? I'm not sure how to pronounce that. And then there's a lot of great restaurants all around here that you should try. Let's take a peek. So, quite a long line, but classic Italian heroes. And I'm going to show you the other pizzeria that you should try here on your pizza tour of the village. ABS Girl says, also New York City apartments keep a good credit score over 700. Yes, if you have anything less than 700, it's going to be a very tough time finding an apartment. Okay, we're going to end with showing you the last great pizza shop that you should come to, called Joe's. If you have any last remaining questions, feel free to ask. We walked from 42nd Street and 9th Avenue all the way down to 4th Street and 6th Avenue. So do the math. We walked nearly 40 blocks, 38 blocks in total. Plus, and then some, because we zigzagged. Auntie says, do you have favorite restaurants for dining for two in the village? Yeah, I would recommend, I forgot the name of the Italian restaurant. It starts with a V on MacDougal Street. Let me see what other place I would recommend. I would recommend,
He's terrified. Yeah, where there's like a combination.
it's crazy. I haven't been to that many restaurants in Greenwich Village in a long time. A great place for two. Yeah, I gotta think about that. If anyone has any recommendations, do let us know. Hey. I don't know. Yeah, I haven't eaten here too much, but if you go to the East Village, I will recommend you a great place. It's called Mogador Cafe. Mogador, Mogador, Mogador. One of the best restaurants, in my opinion, in New York City is in the East Village. So right here, this is the iconic slice shop of New York. If you want to have the most famous slice of New York, this is it, Joe's Pizza. Go to the original Joe's, which is this one right here at 7 Carmine Street in the Village. And there's always a line, but the line goes fast. It's 100% worth it. They're open until late. Great, great pizza, always fresh. Highly recommend Joe's. Still my favorite. People are saying, is it Villa Mosconi? No, it's Vite something. Munish left a 450. Don't know what that currency is, but thank you so much, Munish, for the kind super chat.
The redhead.
Does Angie's Great Italian Food, Don Angie's Great Italian Food, recommends Haas. Never tried that. Thank you so much for a recommendation. Are you a fan of congestion pricing? In short, yes, because I think New York City should be more transit focused as opposed to car focused. And cars are very, very deadly forms of transportation. Nationwide, they're responsible for, I think it's 100,000 plus deaths per year, more. It's a big, big death toll. And New York City is not without exception. Cars lead to way more deaths than any other form of transportation in the world. So I think if you're in a major dense city, cars should be de-incentivized. Everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. This was a live stream. Hope you enjoyed this walk. Don't be fooled by the weather. It feels like spring, but it isn't, because tomorrow it's going to be cold. So if you're coming here February, March, or even April, do bring layers. Make sure to have multiple layers on so you can enjoy a day like this, 58 degrees Fahrenheit, and have a thick jacket, maybe a turtleneck, a thick, good wool sweater, so you can survive the next day, which will be 23 degrees Fahrenheit. So be sure to layer up if you're traveling during this time of year. I'll be back later this week for a sit-down review of A Complete Unknown with Bob Dylan, and then the Urbanist Q&A chat. You can ask me anything as I'm sat in a quiet space. So stay tuned for that video. I'll be announcing it. It'll probably be Friday night-ish. Stay tuned. I'll announce exactly what time and place. Everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. Keep being awesome, and always keep on exploring. Have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye. Dan, thank you so much for tuning in. Dan, wow, Dan is tuning in. One of my friends. Thank you so much for tuning in. Everyone, have a great day. Bye-bye.